This is the coast of San Diego, California, a sun-drenched paradise of beaches and surf. But beneath the surface lies the Great Kelp Forest, a towering underwater cathedral. And just beyond it is Shipwreck Alley, where massive steel wrecks rest in the freezing, dark Pacific. They look peaceful, but they're deadly. Violent surge, collapsing corridors, and bone-chilling water have claimed even experienced divers. I'm John, and for creepy real stories, we're diving into the horrifying incidents in this graveyard of the Pacific and the technical reasons these wrecks become deadly traps. Viewer discretion is advised. The crown jewel of Shipwreck Alley is the HMCS Yukon. She was a Mackenzie-class destroyer, 366 feet of Canadian steel. In the year 2000, she was scrubbed clean and prepared to be sunk as an artificial reef. The plan was simple: blow the charges and let her settle upright on the sandy bottom at 100 feet. But the Pacific had other plans. The night before the scheduled sinking, a massive swell rolled in. The Yukon took on water prematurely and vanished beneath the surface before the demolition team could even arrive. She didn't land upright. She slammed into the sea floor and rolled under her port side. This is where the nightmare begins. Imagine walking into your own house, but the floor is now a wall, and the ceiling is the other wall. Every door, every hallway, and every staircase is turned exactly 90 degrees. To the human brain, this creates a phenomenon called vestibular disorientation. When you enter the Yukon, your inner ear tells you which way is up, but your eyes see a hallway stretching out where a floor should be. In the dark, under pressure, this leads to a state of near-instant vertigo. Your brain simply cannot compute the geometry, and in a crisis, that confusion is lethal. If the disorientation wasn't enough, there is the surge. Unlike a cave, which is a static environment, the Yukon is a living wreck. Because it sits in a high-energy zone, the massive swells of the Pacific push through the ship's openings like a giant piston. Inside the narrow corridors, this creates a Venturi effect. The water speeds up as it's forced through tight doorways. A diver can be hovering peacefully 1 second, and the next, they are being sucked 20 feet deeper into the ship's engine room by an invisible hand. Then comes the silt out. After decades underwater, the interior of the Yukon is coated in a thick layer of rust flakes and fine sediment. The surge shakes the ship constantly. If a diver's fin even grazes the ceiling, the visibility goes from 30 feet to 0 in a fraction of a second. This is exactly what happened in the first major tragedy on the wreck. Shortly after it was sunk, an experienced technical diver entered the hull. He was looking for the safe path, but in the 90-degree tilted maze, he lost his guideline. When the silt came down, he couldn't find the exit hole that was just 6 feet away. He was found with air still in his tank. He simply couldn't find the way out of the rusted steel box. Just north of the wrecks lies a different kind of danger, the La Jolla Submarine Canyon. Here, the shallow sandy flats suddenly drop into a vertical abyss that descends thousands of feet into the deep trench. This is where the predator factor comes in. The canyon acts as a highway for deep-sea life. During the summer, thousands of leopard sharks congregate here, which is harmless, but where there is a high concentration of life, there are the great whites. In the murky green water typical of California, visibility often drops to just 5 feet. Divers in the canyon describe the creeping feeling of being watched from the dark. But the real danger isn't just the sharks, it's the nitrogen narcosis combined with the cold. The water temperature at the canyon's edge can drop 15 degrees in a single foot. This thermocline causes a physical shock to the body, making the rapture of the deep set in much shallower than usual. The canyon floor is littered with the gear of divers who panicked in the dark, cold upwelling, currents that pull freezing water from the deep floor toward the surface. These currents are unpredictable and can blow a diver's mask off or pull them into a rapid, uncontrolled ascent, leading to a severe case of the bends. Why do people continue to dive the Yukon and the canyons? It's the same allure we see at Jacob's Well or the Blue Hole. It's the chance to see a world that isn't meant for us. But California's waters are unforgiving. The Pacific doesn't care about your certification level or how expensive your equipment is. On the Yukon, the ship is slowly pancaking, collapsing under its own rusted weight. Every year, rooms that were once accessible are now crushed shut. In the end, Shipwreck Alley serves as a sobering reminder. When you enter a 300-foot destroyer that's laying on its side in the cold dark, you aren't a guest. You are a temporary visitor in a machine designed for war, now repurposed as a tomb. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'm John, and this has been Creepy Real Stories. If you have a story from the California coast, let us know in the comments. And remember, the ocean is only as safe as your last mistake.